Welcome back to the Hurry Up Offense. 5 minutes of fantasy football news and advice. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. Let's go. Today's topic is choose your waivers carefully. But first, let's get into the news. It says that Julio Jones is iffy right now, which means he's questionable or maybe even doubtful for this week. Now, pay attention to this, because if he's out, that is actually a downgrade for the entire offense. Matt Ryan goes a bump down. Even Calvin Ridley, who will probably see more targets in that instance, even gets a bump down because of coverage. And we all know that double coverage is worse than single coverage. And without the double coverage on Julio, all the other options are left to be double covered if so happens. DeAndre Swift is back in practice after hopefully completing his concussion protocol by now. And we would like to see him get back in because DeAndre Swift was in the middle of a breakout when he went down in practice, might I add. So let's see if he comes back this week on Thanksgiving. This is a good time to play him. Lions are not doing great right now, but DeAndre Swift should be excellent for your team. Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson is designated to return. So that means that Kyle Shanahan can muddy up this backfield and this entire offense even more. We don't know who to play. Of course, we can go by the past and say that Raheem Mostert should get the lion's share of the work here, but we really don't know because it's Kyle Shanahan. But if you need to take a chance, I would go with Raheem Mostert. Good news! Austin Ekeler is also designated to return from IR. So if you've had him sitting in your IR slot this long, you are desperate to get him back. Now, I don't think that Austin Ekeler is actually going to just come back and produce like he did last season, because we didn't see that before he went out this year. But if you're in need of a running back, he is going to probably get the lion's share, and he should be somewhat productive. I just don't think he's going to be dominant. Adam Thielen is on the COVID list, but it's not clear right now if he happens to have COVID or if he was just a close contact. So keep an eye on him. We do know that he's capable of putting up monster games if the situation is right. But if he is out, he's not going to draw that double coverage. So therefore, it usually deflects to Justin Jefferson. So that's going to be more targets for Justin Jefferson, but probably less production per target. So pay attention to that. This is a run-first team. We may not see a whole lot of passing downfield in the first place. Miles Sanders is still healthy. And finally for the news today, Teddy Bridgewater is trending toward playing this week, which is kind of disappointing for me because I wanted to see PJ Walker out there. And the thing about it is he had a great connection with DJ Moore. We somewhat didn't really see that with DJ Moore and Teddy Bridgewater, but PJ Walker went out there and targeted DJ Moore over and over, which that's good if you have DJ Moore. So Teddy Bridgewater comes back, DJ Moore may take a bump down. Who knows? It may just be in the game plan. It may not. But I doubt anyone's seriously chomping at the bit to get Teddy Bridgewater back on their team. So pay attention if you have DJ Moore. That's it for the news today. Let's get to the game theory portion of the show, and that is choose your waivers carefully. Now, if you are a playoff team, here is the main thing you need to do. Have a starting lineup of dominant players. If you are getting ready for your playoffs, we are not worried about depth. Playoffs last 2 weeks. We need the best starting lineup possible. Now, if you would like to pick up your first string running back's handcuff and hold him on the bench, that's fine because he may be useful. But you need the best first string lineup you can put together to go into the playoffs so that you can dominate and win. Only pick up players if you are looking and you see that this waiver wire pickup is better than what you have in your starting lineup. Then at that point, you put the guy in your starting lineup who was obviously good enough to be a starter in the first place onto your bench, and you have quality depth. There's no reason to pick up these one-hit wonder guys. These guys that are going to come in for 1 week and put up some production until the main character gets back in the lineup. We don't need to do that for the playoffs. All we need to focus on is getting the most dominant starting lineup we can find for our fantasy teams and get those championships. Hey, that's it for this week, guys. Please subscribe to the Beyond Football channel. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. I'll see you next week. Deuces.